Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello there, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host, and across from me this evening is
BC.
Our keyboard player this evening is
Dylan.
And we have a returning guest. We haven't had this guy on in so long. I think Moby Dick was a minnow the last time we had this guy on here. It's been a long time. Actually, it's been way too long. And we have Mr. David Hudson from the State of Amorica and Digital Killed Radio Star podcast. David, my friend, how are you?
Always good to talk to the Potter Than Hell guys.
Thank you for joining us. And actually, this the idea for this show was Dave's. Actually, he contacted me. He said, how about we do some Def Leppard? I'm like, yeah, I'm up for that for sure. And this is another band that I'm like, holy shit, we've never done a Def Leppard episode. We've mentioned them a bunch of times. We've talked about them a ton of times. Covered a couple albums, but nothing where the whole episode was focused on them, which I'm glad to do because actually this is another band that I have a series planned, and I have something in the works down the road too to do like a Def Leppard thing as well. Dave, how's stuff going with your podcast? Fill our listeners in on everything for you guys. It's been a while since we've heard from you.
Digital Killed, we've kind of just gone to where we're just going to do episodes whenever we have interviews. I kind of think that's kind of the direction we're going. We recently had Kevin Martin of Candlebox. And also, last week we had Joey Z from the band Life of Agony, and both of those interviews were great. It was bands that I didn't know anything about Life of Agony, one of Chris's favorite bands, and Kevin Martin of Candlebox may have been the best interview I've ever been a part of, and he was just a breath of fresh air. And then State of Amorica, man, I don't know what to say. It is just by far exceeded my expectations and has just, it has blown up. We got mentioned in Rolling Stone and Variety Magazine. We've been in Blabbermouth a couple of times. Just really, really has blown up, and just goes to show you there's an audience for everything. And we kind of tapped into the whole Black Crowes thing about the same time that they were getting back together, and we've had 4 members of the Black Crowes on so far, and we've had a lot of people that are associated with the band, like Charlie Starr and Britt Turner from Blackberry Smoke, and Susan Tedeschi from the Tedeschi Trucks Band, and just enjoying doing it. And Ian, who does it with me, we're actually going to meet each other for the first time this weekend in Atlanta. So it's good. Yeah, State of Amorica, if you're a Black Crowes fan, it's a great podcast to listen to. I hate to toot my own horn, but and Digital Kill the Radio Stars, obviously, anybody's ever listened to that, we're all over the map on that. And so we're just working on getting interviews, and that's probably what we're going to do for the most part for a while, is just do interviews. And so, yeah, thanks for asking.
That's cool. Yeah, hey, and I'm still waiting for you guys to have a guy that really is not a Black Crowes fan on there pick an album and listen to, but I'm still waiting for that.
We're gonna do that. We've gotten so inundated with people wanting to come on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, we've got 4 interviews in the can that we've got to get out of there. But yeah, that's one of the things we have talked about. Matter of fact, somebody actually other than you suggested that to us. So when we get around to it, you're definitely gonna be the guy.
Awesome. And actually, I just saw today that they just announced their tour, that Dirty Honey is going to be the opening band for them. I guess they're going to be touring Shake Your Moneymaker album, right?
Yeah, that had kind of been I wouldn't say secret, but it's something that's been in the works. They actually, the Crowes, when they got back together, they got rid of their old manager and got a new one, and he's also the manager for Dirty Honey. And when the Crowes went on Stern and announced they were getting back together, they did a surprise show in New York and in L.A., just, like the Troubadour in this small place in New York. So it's like 150, 200 people there. And so the lead singer of Dirty Honey posted pictures of him at both shows with Black Crowes shirts on. And so everybody was kind of like, that's probably going to be who it's going to be opening for them, which is good. I mean, because the Crows aren't going to do a lot of the stuff that other stuff that I like, but other people don't like. They're not going to do any jamming. They're going to play that Shake Your Moneymaker album front to back, which is just a good straight up rock record. And, if that's the audience that's going to go see the Crows on this tour, you probably couldn't pick a better younger band than Dirty Honey to do that.
Yeah, I like them too, because actually we're going to be talking about them in next week, right? Or
I'm not sure, because you said next week the last time.
Yeah, I did.
Wasn't.
Couple weeks. I think we're going to be talking about those guys. And I won't even I didn't want to give anything away. Last week, what did we do last week, Dylan? We did BC's birthday last week.
We did.
BC, actually, I will say happy birthday, because your birthday is 2 days from now. We're recording on the 17th. BC's birthday is on the 19th. So happy official birthday 2 days early instead of a week early. He's going to be 62, right? Something like that?
63.
63? Okay. Happy birthday to me. And I'm still pissed. I ordered you something for your birthday, and I thought it would be here last week when we recorded. I thought it would be here today when we recorded. It still didn't fucking come, so I'll just give it to you, change of ships one of these days, should it ever come. I got a shipping notice for it like last week, so I was hopeful, but didn't work out.
The postal service.
Dylan, we enjoyed BC's birthday episode. David, you will hear that a couple days from now, because that'll be out
This
Friday, which was last Friday if you guys are listening now. I get confused doing that about all this shit.
You listen to the news back in time.
Yeah, back in time. There you go. And actually, last week, BB and I did a live stream with Steven and Sonny from Grown Up Rock and Tom and Zeus from Shout Out Loudcast. We had a great time. It was a long thing, but we each did 3. You could put the air quotes up there, hair metal albums each. And we talked about them, busted balls about them, ridiculed one another for our picks, and a couple of surprises that people actually like some shit that we figured they would shit on, and some stuff that we thought was good that people shit on that they hated. So check that out. That's on our Facebook page. So that's where we're at right now. And BC, what's up with you, my friend? How are you?
Oh, my God. Losing my mind. Never had kids in my life, and now I have kids, even though they're
Adults.
They're still driving me nuts.
Driving
God
into
love 'em.
hysteria.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard. That's all I can tell you.
Can you help me? Can you do this? Oh, my God. I love them, but other than that, working and listen to some tunes when I get a chance and peace and quiet, which is not too.
Which is rare, right?
I gotta get my downstairs. Yeah.
We got to get the BC cave ready to go. How about you, Dylan? How's it going?
Not too bad. Just keeping on.
All right. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get going, we'll do a little what are you listening to? David, what are you listening to, my friend? We haven't heard from you in that respect in a while.
I've been listening to the new Gojira album, which is really, really good. And then Blackberry Smoke has a new album coming out probably on the day that this episode is going to drop. And they've got 4 singles out, and it's very much a guitar album. Mm-hmm. It's very much a rock album, which, they dip into the blues. They dip into a little bit of country. But this is very much going to be a rock album. And it's 4 singles out. They're all amazing. And I saw them a couple of weeks ago, and they're still one of the best live bands I've going today. And so, Blackberry Smoke, and then that new Gojira album.
Oh, so you actually got to see a live album?
A live
show.
I went. It was in Birmingham. It's probably 3 weeks ago, I guess, and it was still like a socially distant show, so you had to buy like a quadrant, and we were essentially more or less front row. And actually, I've had Charlie on my other podcast, on State of Amorica, the lead singer, and Britt, the drummer. And so messaged Charlie. He's like, yeah, come to the bus afterwards. And so I got to talk to him for a few minutes and see him. And they're super, super nice guys. But yeah, it was fun to go into a show. I felt like I was going to cry when they came out, to be honest with you. I was so, excited to see live music. And now we haven't had any real restrictions down here in a while, because we opened up the vaccine to everybody a couple of months before anybody else did. I was lucky. I got it in December. So since probably 1st of February, I've been living my life.
Oh, good for you. That's good. Yeah, we've been vaccinated since February, I think. So slowly getting back to what we were. So I'm glad at least someone got to see some live music. Dylan, what are you listening to?
One thing I'm listening to is a song from Mastodon that was released. It's off of the Dark Knight's Death Metal soundtrack, and basically DC Comics did this big event where it was called Dark Knight's Death Metal, and there was an event before that they also had metal bands submit music for the soundtrack of it, and this one is for an event that's been done for a couple months now, but they're still releasing songs from it. The song is called Forged by Neuron. Pretty cool song. It's Mastodon, so you know it's good. And I also listened to, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about this a little bit, KK Downing and Ripper Owens came together to do a new band called KK's Priest. They released their first single, Hellfire Thunderbolt, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was there. Nothing too spectacular.
What's the name of the song again? What is it?
Hellfire Thunderbolt, which that says it all. It feels like they're trying a little too hard because it's just like, we're metal. We're better than Priest. Look at all this metal stuff. Hellfire, Thunderbolt. It gets a little too much, but it's okay, in my opinion.
All right, BC, what do you got going?
I've been checking out the Striper Reborn, and like Dylan, KK Downing's Priest, which not bad. I'm hoping. I like where it's at. Hopefully, that's usually they don't release their best stuff.
Yeah, usually the best stuff is not released right away.
Knock on wood, and I went back and listened to the whole Def Leppard catalog because I haven't really checked out Def Leppard and mini albums.
Wow.
Like, checked them out. Sit through every song.
So you listen to all the albums?
I listen to all.
Really? All right.
All the newer ones.
The newer. Okay, yeah, the other ones you don't need to. Yeah. All right, well, for me, I've been kind of binging on newer Iron Maiden because we have something coming up soon, and I've been kind of binging on that lately. I actually didn't get to listen to as much Def Leppard as I would have liked to for this episode, but I have my list is my list. And I've been still checking out the Smith Kotzen album. I really like it. I posted, my vinyl playing the one time. Some people ripped it. Some people loved it. It's not for everybody. I like it. I think it's a solid album. I love the combination. Never in a million years would I have thought to put those two together to put an album out. I'm really enjoying it. And I also listened to the KK's Priest Hellfire Thunderbolt, and I thought it was a little reaching for them as well, like Dylan said. I like that. I like Ripper Owens' vocals. I mean, they're not Rob Halford. They're different, but they're in that same kind of vein. But I really like the soloing on that song, like the very first part, that like that. It's just like, not just like, but it's very reminiscent of the whammy bar crazy shit that KK does during Sinner when they do it live. Actually, even on the studio version too, there's quite a bit of that. And like when they do Sinner, that's pretty much the song that KK's featured on, and so I kind of like that. So that's it for me. And David, you didn't check out the Priest thing, right? I'm sure.
I've never. I mean, people are going to turn off your podcast. I've just never really gotten it. Honestly, I've never really gotten into them or Maiden. I know, kicked me off the podcast, and people are. I didn't do myself any favors by saying that.
Hey, you like what you like, but you know what? It's all depends on when you come into it. You know what I mean? It's because I'm sure you're several years younger than we are, and
I'm 44.
40. Well, you are several years. You're like almost 10 years younger than we are. So I mean, there's that difference, and that makes a big difference in musical tastes and what you listen to and what you like.
I will tell you this, and I think I've talked to Chris about this. It may be kind of odd. When it comes to hard rock and heavy metal, for whatever reason, if I was not a fan of it growing up, I kind of have a hard time getting into it now, later in life. I wasn't too young to get into Priest and Maiden. They just didn't come up on my radar all that much right then. I've gone back and tried, they've got some great songs, but yeah, it's just weird when it comes to like heavy metal. Like, I have a hard time like becoming a new fan of a band that's been around a while now, like new band like Mastodon and Gojira and stuff like that. Yeah, but for whatever reason, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right, so there's what we're listening to. We got some Iron Maiden, some Kotzen and Smith Kotzen for myself, some Striper Reborn and KK's Priest for BC and the newer parts of the Def Leppard catalog for BC. Little Mastodon forged by Neron for Dylan. KK's Priest as well. And our buddy David has Gojira, their new album, and some new Blackberry Smoke. So, let's talk about Def Leppard. We're going to do our top 12 songs. We agreed, right, people? Let's go by age on this one. So it'll be Dylan, David, and then we'll do our gems and stuff. Then it'll be BC, then myself. And but when we do go around and kind of say how you got into Def Leppard and what your wheelhouse for them is and everything, and we'll lead to a good discussion and give your list. So go ahead, Dylan.
Okay, Def Leppard. As long as I can remember, they've always been on the radio. That's how I've known them. I would hear their songs all the time, whether playing from your radio, playing in the car radio, playing in the mall, everywhere. You would just hear Def Leppard. They were just part of the zeitgeist by the time that I was growing up. One movie that I remember them really featuring heavily in is a movie called Balls of Fury, which is a ping pong movie. Kind of like a ping pong.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken's in it, yep. That the lead character is obsessed with Def Leppard, so he's always listening to Def Leppard before the matches. And at one point he comes down to he does an entrance to Rock of Ages and lip syncs the whole intro of it until somebody smashes the stereo. So that's cemented Def Leppard in my head when I was a little older, but otherwise they've just been around. And I've always enjoyed them. That was one of my first concerts, was seeing them with Poison and Cheap Trick. That was a fun time, besides the couple that was hardcore making out next to my aunt, who then just pushed me between her and the couple so that she didn't have to deal with it. That was a little scarring, but otherwise I really enjoyed the concert. But as for picking my list, I could have picked my absolute favorite Def Leppard songs of all time, but they would have been just the hits and just from the first 4 albums, because those are the albums that I'm familiar with. So I decided to diversify a little bit. I decided to listen to the catalog, try and get some little bits and pieces from each album, each era of Def Leppard. It's not in any order. It's not favorite to least favorite or anything like that. It's just the order that I put them down in. So the first song I want to spotlight is from their very first record, On Through the Night, and it's the very first song, Rock Brigade. Really great opening statement for Def Leppard. I think it's a really good testament to how the band is. The guitar work is really fantastic, and that's Steve Clark was still in the band before he passed away. Really great guitarist that I think really brought some good edge to the band. Very different style playing than Phil Collins and Vivian Campbell later on. It's just very different. Very cool. The second track I want to spotlight is off of their covers album, Yeah! Do the Who, Yeah! From Woke and Fooled Again. Cover of David Bowie's Drivin' Saturday. First off, love this song. The original is off of Aladdin Sane. It's kind of a doo-wop-y song that I really enjoy. It's got the ah-doo-ah background vocals, and Def Leppard, for me, their background vocals are some of my favorite parts of the songs. And this is a really fun take at it. It's a couple keys down so that Joe Elliott could sing it. Understandable.
It's got to be.
But a very good version of it. I think it really adds that 50s swing feel that David Bowie's original version had, but with a little Def Leppard kick. The third song I want to feature is off of Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. This one surprised me. Bad Actress. Really fun, fast-paced rocker. Kind of a beating around the bush vocal and instrumental call and response where it's the vocals with the drums and then the rest of the instrumentals. Once the vocals pause, kind of a back-and-forth type of thing. Really awesome soloing. And again, it's back-and-forth soloing between Vivian and Phil, because you could tell with the different guitar tones. So they're both being showcased in this song. A really fun later-era song from their later era that I really enjoyed. Number 4, another song from a more recent album, from the album X, 4-letter word, and it is not the 4-letter word you're thinking of. Nice jangly guitar riff. There's stop and start vocals and a riff that's really fun, and there's a fun short solo as well. This was a song that kind of popped out for me on an album that I'm not a big fan of. It's okay, not my favorite by any means, but this was a song that really jumped out to me. Number 5 from Euphoria, Demolition Man. Really fun, fast-sung chorus. It's almost kind of like Freewheel Burning speed at times, which is really fun. Just a rockin' song throughout. I really enjoy it. Now we're getting to the more well-known albums. Number 6 from Adrenalized, BC, do you want to get rocked?
Hell yeah.
Let's get rocked. I know it's kind of a cringy song for some people, but
It's fun.
I love. It's really fun. I love the different, get your butt out of bed. This is the nice little.
Bugging me.
It's almost like a little play in a song, and I really enjoy it. I love the violin part. It's just a really cool evolution of Rock of Ages. I think it's almost like the next step in it that I really
The rock
enjoy.
side of the question.
Exactly. And then from Hysteria, number 7, Don't Shoot Shotgun. Really great song. One of the lesser known tracks on the album, which that album is fantastic. Don't let BB tell you otherwise. This is a really great, heavy song for them. And again, the background vocals are what really bring it for me. And the guitar work is just fantastic. Number 8 from Pyromania, Rock Till You Drop, the first song. Women to the left, women to the right. Come on, it's fantastic. Again, I love the background vocals. That's what sticks out to me on a lot of Def Leppard songs are the, anyway you go. Just really, really fantastic. I do like Joe solo, but I love the background vocals from the rest of the band as well. Number 9, Let It Go from High and Dry. I really like, they do opening tracks very well, I think. They know how to get you invested in the song, and this is a really fun, heavy opening track that I would often, when I was younger, get confused with Rock Till You Drop for some reason. I would always combine them in my head. I don't know why, but they're just two great opening songs. Number 10, this one's probably going to get some cringe from my dad, from the Retroactive CD. 2 Steps Behind, but the acoustic version, because I think the vocals are much better than the electric version. I like the electric version, but the background vocals in the acoustic version sound so much cleaner and so much more epic, and I think it really helps build up the greatness of the song. It's an acoustic song that I enjoy. I'll get my lighter out any day to 2 Steps Behind. My second to last song, it was a B-side to the song Goodbye from Euphoria, but it's on the Slang Deluxe Edition, and it's Burnout. This has a nice grungy riff, a fun chorus. It almost feels like a song off of Pearl Jam's 10 at times. There's almost an even flow type feel to it that I get, but it's a really fun, heavier song that should not have been a B-side. I think it should have been on the album because it's a really great track. And then my last track, this one was actually just recently released. They're coming out with a Rarities Vault CD called X, and Songs from the Sparkle Lounge, Rarities from the Vault. And they released a couple tracks from it already. And one of the tracks was a cover of Now I'm Here by Queen that they performed live at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert in Wembley in 1992 with Brian May on guitar. So you have Brian May on guitar with the rest of the band of Def Leppard doing a Queen song that's really great and really rockin'. One of my favorite Queen songs off of Sheer Heart Attack. Awesome version of it that I enjoy. It's got that Brian May red special guitar tone that you could tell, but the rest of the band sounds perfect with it. It almost sounds like a Def Leppard song at times and not a Queen song, the way that they do it. Really great version of the song. So those are my 12 songs that I picked for this episode. Not sure if you guys have anything to say on them.
What'd you think, BC?
Good picks. You're going to hear more of that. But, I mean, I agree with you when you said their background vocal is trademark, I think, to Def Leppard sound.
All right. Huddy.
I would call that random. We only had one song in common. Some interesting choices there. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I got a little more to say about it.
Uh-oh.
Shocking. I know it's shocking. Demolition Man, excellent song. It actually just missed my list. I really like that. I love the Euphoria album. I think it's got a lot of good stuff on it, and you may hear a song from there on mine. Don't Shoot Shotgun is fantastic. I just like it's like a heavier song. It's a great deep track towards the end of the album. Really good. Rock Till You Drop. You may hear that again. And Dylan, 2 Steps Behind is fucking fantastic.
Thank you.
They do a version of that, and I always talk about this Def Leppard show. I want to say it's one of the first shows that Vivian Campbell played with them at the soccer stadium in Sheffield.
Yes.
And okay, you're familiar with that, Dave?
He's wearing a University of Virginia.
He got a Virginia Tech shirt on.
Yeah, Virginia Tech shirt.
Yep. And it's a great concert, but like they do a version of Two Steps Behind that is just like, holy shit, is that fucking fantastic. They do a version of Rocket in that show that's they stretch it out, and they do parts of like A Whole Lot of Love in there, and Phil Collins just goes fucking crazy on that song. That concert is fantastic. Just a great pick. Two Steps Behind is one of the best songs on, and I'm not a huge ballad guy, you guys know that, but really good. And the only one I'm not really familiar with is that Burnout song. I have to check that out. That's from Slang, you said, right?
It's on the deluxe edition of Slang, but
deluxe.
It was a B-side of Goodbye from
Oh,
Euphoria.
okay. I was wondering why I didn't to see that too much. Okay, Huddy, what do you got for us, my friend?
All right, let's see here. Let me pull up my list. I got into Def Leppard I was like 11 years old when Hysteria came out. I got into them then. And then, obviously, as I got older, found out they had other albums. They were actually the first rock concert I ever saw in 92 in Memphis, the Adrenalize Tour in the Round. And it was one of the first – no, it wasn't one of the first shows, but it was, obviously the first tour with Vivian Campbell. But they've always been kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. People give me a hard time for liking them, especially liking the Hysteria album. But like I told you, Steve, when you were on my podcast talking about it, people that bag on the Hysteria album, they owned it. The thing sold 28 million records. There's a reason that album sold so many sold so many copies. They tried to make it like Michael Jackson's Thriller, where every song was a potential single, and they did. With the exception of one song, I don't like Run Riot, but with the exception of that, I think they're all good songs. And with that said, we'll break into my top 12. Number 12, High and Dry, off of their second album. I love kind of the swing to this. It's interesting when you go back and listen to this albums where Rick Allen had both of his arms. His drumming style has definitely changed, and it's just the drumming on these songs just has kind of a swing to it. And this song is obviously an example of that. Just a really good chorus. It's back before Joe Elliott's voice got strained and he had the vocal problems, so he was definitely singing in a good register. Number 11 is off their last album, which was a self-titled album. The song is called Dangerous. Now, granted, the lyrics are a little out there. They're never going to be confused with Bob Dylan. They got the lyric, we break up to make up. But there's something about that opening riff and the drumming on it and the guitar playing on it that just sounds so fun to me. And I just really, really enjoyed that off the last album. And had a song on there called Broken Hearted that was really good. Number 10, we're getting into some of the older stuff, Love and Affection off Hysteria. I love this song. And there's something about the melody and the kind of the groove to it. And on the Hysteria Deluxe Edition, there's a live version of this that actually came out before Hysteria did, when they were recording Hysteria. And the full story is that's Rick Allen's first show with one arm. It's kind of a monumental show. And that version of it's a little more sped up than the recorded version, but a great song nonetheless. Number 9, this was originally a B-side or an unreleased track off Hysteria. It's called Tear It Down. And I prefer the version on the Hysteria Deluxe album versus the version on Adrenalize, which is a little too polished for my taste. If people may remember, they played this on the MTV Music Awards.
Yep.
Which was kind of a left of center selection. This is just, to me, is just kind of classic hard rock, big chorus, Def Leppard. Number 8 off of Euphoria it was a single called Promises. The lyrics are a little cheesy, but this is a return to form after Slang. And this is just a great rock song with a very, very cool opening riff, if you ask me, one of Phil Collins' best. And then number 7 is one of the old war horses off of Hysteria, Animal. I love this song. I love everything about it. Whenever it comes on the radio, I don't change it like I do when Love Bites or Pour Some Sugar on Me. Come on. I think this was kind of their one of the songs where they really, really peaked. And that first side of Hysteria may be one of the best first sides of any album you'll ever hear, in my opinion. Number 6 off of Slang was, I believe this was the lead single, Work It Out. Up until this point, this song was unlike anything they have done in their career, probably owing a little bit to the grunge era and kind of the changing, soundscape of music. A little bit more of a grungier alternative type sound, and had some more, effects on the songs. And I believe Rick Allen may have changed the drums he was using, but this is one I've never been able to see live. I think they hardly ever play it ever since that tour. But I think Slang is an underrated album.
David,
and,
he used acoustic drums on that album.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, great song, underrated album. Number 5, to me, one of the more moving songs they've ever recorded is White Lightning off Adrenalize. This was recorded after Steve Clark died, and it's obviously all about Steve Clark. I think for them, they actually do a good job on serious songs whenever they choose to do it. Like this one, Gods of War, Paper Sun off of Paper Sun was off Euphoria. But this one is just so good. I was fortunate enough to get to see it live. This is one time I love those layered vocals, where it's 100 vocals layered over one another on this. And obviously this is a song that's probably tough for them to play due to the subject matter. Number 4, Let It Go. The last time I saw them, this was the opening song. It's very interesting to hear Phil Collins play it and Vivian Campbell. Obviously neither one of them were on that track when it was recorded. This is just great prime hard rock Def Leppard. Such an infectious chorus and infectious guitar riff. Number 3, one of the big time hits, Hysteria. To me, this is one of the songs that helped set that album apart. It is so good. The groove to it is great. There's a version on the deluxe edition of Hysteria that's live, and I love how they used to open the song. They would do it with Savage playing this like really cool bass riff, and then Phil Collins would come in and play a few notes before they broke into the song. Now, if you see them live, they just go right into it.
Yep.
I love it live when Phil Collins adds a few flourishes with the guitar and uses the whammy bar and stuff like that. But I know some people will bag on me for it. I think it's a great song. Number 2, the one they always used to close out all the shows, Photograph. If you don't like this song, I'm sorry. I got nothing for you, because it's this is a paint by numbers arena rock song. And a lot of times when I go see a band, and I'm not big on bands that play the same set list. It's one of the reasons I love the Black Crowes. They never play the same set list, so you don't know what they're going to open with or close with. I have no problem with them closing with this. And then number 1, favorite Def Leppard song of all time off Hysteria, Armageddon It. That opening guitar riff is just like butter, chef's kiss, and just a fun song. Got the big chorus. I think it was one of the last songs they actually recorded for the album. Love the video for it, and it's another one that if I see them, they've got to play that. And usually I think it's Vivian takes the opening riff on it, so I would assume Steve Clark played that on the record. But that's my top 12.
All right, cool. How about you? What do you think, BC?
Not bad. I mean, I'm surprised at how much we have in common. It's scary, but very good list. I mean,
all right, Dylan.
A lot of these just barely missed my list. High and Dry, Saturday Night is fantastic. I really love that song off of High and Dry. Animal, the background vocals on that one too. During the chorus, I love And I Want. And I need. It's just so catchy. It's so sing along.
Trademark.
Like everything you picked from Hysteria, like Hysteria, Armageddon It. These are all fantastic songs. They are such crowd pleasers for a reason. Same thing with Photograph off of Pyromania. It's played a lot, but it's a great song. It's played a lot for a reason. I think I really enjoy it. And of course, I did like Let It Go, since that was also on my list. So very, very good list.
I meant to chime in, Dylan. 4-letter Word was actually the last song I cut. That's that and Torn to Shreds and Now off that album, I think, are really, really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Dave, fantastic list. Dangerous, great pick. That actually just missed my list. Love and Affection is an interesting song for me off of Hysteria. It's the last song on the album, and it's forgotten about, I think, because I don't know if people are just like that album like burned out by the time they get to that, but it's very, very, very far from a skipper. That's why I did an episode with David on Digital Killed. Him and I did Hysteria. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about this album. And for me, when I listen to Hysteria anymore, unless I'm listening to my vinyl, if I'm like streaming it or whatever, or if I'm listening to my CD, I will hit shuffle play because I don't want to like miss something, you know what I mean, and just like be at the end and like not be paying attention. I like to hear, ooh, there's, you know, whatever, there's this one. I like to play that album on shuffle play. Don't Shoot Shotgun, another one that is another one of those songs. You're like, it's a deep track in the album, but it's fantastic. And I think you're right when you said that they wanted to make this album like Thriller, that every song could be a single, and every song literally could be a single on this album. What do we got? Promises, you may hear about that later. Work It Out, fantastic song. White Lightning, kick-ass song. And I think you're right. I think that may be a emotionally difficult song for those guys to play. You know, maybe not as much right now, you know, so much time has passed, maybe more of a nostalgic kind of thing. But like when that first came out, that had to be like a you know, kick in the nuts to play that song. Photograph, one of the greatest hard rock songs, melodic hard rock songs that is out there, if you know, however you want to you know, to put that. And I'm glad you mentioned Tear It Down, because we talked about that when we did one of the MTV Music Awards thing, and they did that, and that song wasn't even released when they played that, I don't think. And
It was the last time
Steve Clark played live with those guys. So I mean, that's a fantastic pick. Great list, and David, you know my love for Hysteria.
I do. Interesting note, I think, about Tear It Down. You know, when they played, like you're talking about how they played that at the time, MTV Video Music Awards could make you or break you.
Yep.
And that was a big deal. And so, like, the Black Crowes, when they went on Saturday Night Live, they played a song that hadn't even been recorded yet. And so I think when you go on the national stage like that, now if you did something like that, nobody would care because nobody watches any of it.
Right.
But at the time, you know, when I was in high school, the next day at school, all you talked about was who played at the Video Music Awards. And so I think that takes a lot of gumption to go on a show like that with that many people watching. And also at a time, honestly, when that style of music was on its way out, you have the guts there to go play a song you hadn't released yet. I think that tells you a lot about the confidence in themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I could not agree more. So we have Dylan's list. You guys, I'll just go to each real quick, read your list again, and then we'll get into the gem song. Go ahead, Dylan.
Okay. My list was Rock Brigade from On Through the Night, Driving Saturday from Yeah, Bad Actress from Songs from the Sparkle Lounge, Four Letter Word from X, Demolition Man from Euphoria, Let's Get Rocked from Adrenalize, Don't Shoot Shotgun from Hysteria, Rock Till You Drop from Pyromania, Let It Go from High and Dry, Two Steps Behind the acoustic version from Retroactive, Burnout from the deluxe edition of Slang, and Now I'm Here from X, Yeah, and Songs from the Sparkle Lounge, Rarities from The Vault.
All right. David, read yours again, my friend.
High and Dry, Dangerous, Love and Affection, Tear It Down, Promises, Animal, Work It Out, White Lightning, Let It Go, Hysteria, Photograph, and Armageddon It.
All right. Great lists. And before we get into our hidden gems, I'm going to play a gem song. And actually, this is going to be an additional celebration from BC's birthday episode. We're going to play a song from an album that he picked last week for his birthday episode. And I think it was one of the songs that we all agreed was one of the best songs of the night. So we are going to play Wheels of Fire from Saints and Sinners from the 1992 self-titled album.
Wild is what I am. Catch me if you can. I'm all
Okay, we are back. Hope you guys enjoyed Wheels of Fire by Saints and Sinners from the BC Birthday album from 1992. Check it out. Great song. Fucking thing rocks. And time for a little hidden gem action. And we will go with our guest first this evening. David, what do you have, my friend?
All right, so I was going back and forth on a few things, and actually I'm going to go with a song off of Skid Row's Subhuman Race album, which is an album I actually really, really like. A lot of people poo-poo on it, but it's a ballad on there called Breaking Down, and it's unlike anything Skid Row has done, and honestly, I think it's unlike anything that came out at that time from a ballad standpoint. It's not, I love you, I want to die for you, and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty, the lyrics are pretty serious, and one of the things that draws me to it is the guitar solo. And if you know, like back in the time, those power ballads were kind of basically built around a big chorus and a powerful guitar solo. This is probably one of the most restrained guitar solos you're ever going to hear on a Skid Row album. It's it's not a distorted sound, and the drumming on it is really, really good. I'm not a musician, so I can't speak to the technical aspects of it. But it was actually on a movie, and then when they, for whatever reason, they remixed it and added a little ear candy to it. But it just has a great vibe to it, and I know it wasn't that big of a hit, and that album was kind of a bomb. But I think it's either the last song or next to last song. But it's called Breaking Down. I just absolutely love it.
All right, cool. Wow, that's a shock for you picking Skid Row. No offense, but it is. All right, cool. BC, what do you got?
I was surfing around and I come across it's kind of like I should have used it for one of our future things. It's a fun band, just 4-piece fun band, Love Razor, with Rock and Roll Addiction. It's like I don't know if it's an EP or a single. It's only 3 songs. But came out in 2016. 3 songs: First Class Bitch, All Time Sleaze, and Turn It Up, which to me is the best of all these 3. Like just
Love Razor.
Love Razor.
Love Razor.
And they came out with the album 2010.
When you shave, BC, do you use your Love Razor?
I love the Love Razor.
Cool. All right, Dylan, how are you?
So I mentioned the upcoming Def Leppard B-Sides album, X Yeah, and songs from the Sparkle Lounge Rarities from the Vault. They released 6 tracks off of it. I want to spotlight another track for my hidden gem. They do a cover of Alice Cooper's Elected, live in Tilburg in 1987. So very interesting to hear Def Leppard cover Alice Cooper. You wouldn't think it would happen, but they did it. It sounds pretty good. Very low-key song for them to pick, too. Not what I would have gone with for Def Leppard, but it works for them. It sounds pretty good. So Def Leppard doing Elected, live in Tilburg, 1987 is my hidden gem.
All right. Very cool. And for my hidden gem, actually, here's a band, BC, I don't think we've ever talked about before, and I don't know how, because the band is known as BC, Beautiful Creatures. We may have back in the, I don't know. It was so goddamn long ago. Okay. My hidden gems, their second album called Deuce, not to be confused with a deuce. But fantastic album. The original band was Joe Leslie from Bang Tango, DJ Ashba on guitar, and then Glenn Sobel on drums. That is Alice Cooper's drummer now. But the second album is still Joe Leslie on vocals, and it's Alex Grossi on guitar. And the drummer is Matt Starr, that is now in Ace Frehley's band. And so, great album, just great, straightforward, hard rock. You could tell it's Joe from Bang Tango. The vocals, he's got that scratchy rasp to his voice. There's a deluxe edition now that's out on Apple Music. There's 17 songs on it, but it's still under an hour. So they're like 2.5, 3-minute songs, quick in and out, some ripping solos in there. Alex Grossi, I'll tell you what, he tears it up on this fucking album. Fantastic, but it still has the feel of that first album by them. Really good. I enjoy it, and that came out in 2005.
And he still owes me a beer.
He still owes us beer. Yeah, he was bumming beers off us in the lobby in M3 about fucking 10 years ago, maybe maybe 8. But so there's our hidden gems. Our buddy David has Skid Row Breaking Down from the Subhuman Race album. That is a deep cut, my friend. That is deep. You got the big shovel out today. Dylan's got Def Leppard doing a live version of Elected from the new upcoming, what is it?
It's like a B-sides
Like
album.
a B-side album. Not to be confused with B-sides ourselves, BC, right? BC's got his Love Razor out from Rock and Roll Addiction is the name of the EP. Myself, I have BC, better known as Beautiful Creatures, and the album is Deuce from 2005. So let's get back into our Def Leppard list. So, all right, BC, give us your list and give us your little Def Leppard history here, too.
Def Leppard, I mean, anybody knows I've first taste of music was Kiss and Cheap Trick. After that, it went into the mass of Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and it seemed like Rat. Oh, but kind of almost the same time. And Pyromania album, I just played the shit out of this album. I think I had to get like 3 cassettes because I didn't get CDs. There was no CDs back then. And we would go visit my uncle, usually on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Jerry or Bob?
Jerry.
Okay.
He lived over Hamlin Way. So I would put the headphones on for the ride and always played this album, played the crap out of it. Could not get enough of it. So my whole list is this new album and different versions of it. Just joking. Anyways, none of these are in any kind of order. So no mouth dropping over there.
I'm open to
So
whatever.
like I said, I the biggest surprise of this week is I made a shuffle playlist. You'd be impressed.
I'm impressed. I am. Anything
I
you
impressed
can do
myself.
on your phone that is other than talking to someone on the phone or texting, I'm impressed.
I did on my little.
Oh, your Buffalo Bills thing?
No.
iPod?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. All
Don't
right.
ask me.
That's a shock.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, a lot of shocking going on here. I tried and I shuffled and played it and listened to, and I would write down anything that caught my ear, but unfortunately,
Not a lot did.
it did. But I don't know. You know what I mean?
There's catching your ear and there's catching your ear.
It's catching my ear and then catching my ear. But I'm going to start off with number 12 off of Hysteria with Hysteria. This is a song that, I don't know, it's mid-tempo. I just love the vocals. Like, he's not doing his typical vocals. It's more laid back. More of a mellow tune in my book. But enjoyable. And I think it's grown on me so much in the last probably 3-4 years. Because every time you're in my wife's car, you have to hear the Hair Nation or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they always play this. And it's really grown on me. As much as the whole album has.
At least she's not playing the bridge.
No. Then my next one, 11, is going to be Rocks Off On Through the Night. To me, just when the guitar kicks in, it has this boogie feel. And it takes me back to that little, not documentary, but that movie VH1 had. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah. The like, mockumentary or whatever they call it. Kind of like the Motley Crue thing, but Def Leppard.
And it shows them in the rehearsal place.
Without the nudity.
Yeah. The rehearsal place they had doing the song. I love it. It's just a straightforward boogie-ish song. Number 10, I'm going to go from Adrenalize with we talked about before, Tear It Down. Just, to me, I love this song. It's straight ahead rocker. And that's what I love about this band. Number 9 is going to be Rock Till You Drop off of Pyromania. Another one, straight ahead rocker. Off of my favorite album, Pyromania. Then number 8 is going to be, I'm going to call it an audible on number 8. I had to go to it, and it was already picked, but I'm sticking with it. Off of the self-titled Def Leppard, Dangerous. I mean, it's just, I love the guitar-driven catchiness of the song. For a later album, for me, which I really pretty much checked out of Def Leppard and their newer stuff. So this caught my ear when it came on. I had to give it due. Number 7, another hit and run off of High and Dry. I love the guitar riff start. Joe's killing it on the vocals. And, of course, all this earlier Def Leppard, I mean, not earlier, but at least High and Dry, Pyromania, Hysteria, the distinctive of their background vocals just... cannot go around with it. And a killer solo. And a little second solo, too. Number 6, one of the later albums that I had to give Steve probably got me into this because I was pretty much checked out of Def Leppard. Gift of Flesh off of Slaying. I mean, it's a little bit different sound for Def Leppard, I think, but it has such a good groove, and you find yourself, I don't know, bopping up and down if you're at a live show for it. Number 5, Run Riot, Hysteria. I just love the steadiest of the drums. To me, I'm a straightforward rock. So when the later albums, I see that in one of these later albums, I jump right aboard. Number 4, Wasted off of On Through the Night. I just love the riff, the solo, solid solo, and the background vocals are still distinctive, but they're different than High and Dry and later. It's very raw to me. Number 3, again off Pyromania, Too Late for Love. Just love the little Star Wars beginning. And it kicks in.
What was that again, BC?
Too Late for Love.
No, what was the
noise? Sound effect.
I guess that's one of my all-time favorites.
Sound effects by BC.
BC, you're an American treasure. Just to let you know.
Off my Desert Island album. And I'm going to stick with that album for number 2 with the Die Hard Hunter. Like the sirens and the guitar slowing, the slow guitar to start, and it kicks in. And I love the guitar solo. It just blows me away in the song. Nice and it's a little extended, I guess you would say. And I got to finish off with the High and Dry's Let It Go. The opening riff, and then the drums kick in. It has everything. It even has cowbell. You can't go around a cowbell. And a little drum. I like the little drum finish at the end.
You know, you did a little, right? You did a little one.
Did it?
Uh-huh.
Can never have enough. But, I mean, here's a band, like you said, we have not talked about a lot. And unfortunately, pretty much, you had those albums, and Hysteria came out. You're waiting all these years, and then it came out, and I was like, oh my God, nah. I was totally turned off it. But throughout the years, I've grown, and that album was very enjoyable to me. After that, hits and misses. I mean, they're still enjoyable tunes, enjoyable band to see live, but album-wise,
you never have a whole album to grab onto.
There's not a whole album that grabs me and says, ooh, damn, why did I listen to this?
I must play this over and over again.
Over and over and over.
All right. Huddy, what do you think, my friend?
I like his list. I think one of the things that's interesting on there is Rock Rock Till You Drop. I think it's a great song. You got to think, though, when they wrote that, and they're like 22, 23 years old, like, we're going to be singing this when we're 50 and 55? You know, because it is kind of a youth anthem. Gift of Flesh, I think, is a great choice. You know, they took a lot of flack for that Slang album, but you got to give it to them for, you know, having the guts to go with that. Run Riot, a song that, you know, that's the one off of Hysteria that doesn't really do a whole lot for me. And it's, if you hear them play that on that, when they played the Hysteria album all the way through, boy, Joe Elliott struggles with the vocals on that one. But, I mean, he's not a young man anymore. But then Too Late for Love, man, Too Late, the combo of Too Late for Love and Foolin', two just amazing back-to-back songs. And that is one that almost made my list, and just an amazing, amazing song. Just them when they were peaking, and just the, you know, they always play that and then Foolin' back to back whenever you see them in concert. But yeah, I thought it was a very good list, BC, and I like that you picked Dangerous, because that's just a fun song, and like I said, that opening riff is just it's just like butter.
And that's what caught my ear when I had to doing something and all of a sudden it caught my ear until I stopped and went over and hit the screen to see what it was. So I had to put that on the list.
All right, cool. Yeah, I enjoy the list. Some picks there you may hear in another minute or so. Rocks Off is really good, and now that you said that about the VH, I totally forgot about the VH1 movie. Talk about, like, oh God. Tear It Down, still another great song. Rock Rock is fantastic. Dangerous is great. Wasted, I love that. The riff, the beginning riff to that song is just fantastic. Love it. Too Late for Love, I'm a little surprised that's a BC pick. I'm a little surprised for that, but I do like the whatever you got going in the beginning there.
Star Wars.
Let It Go, fantastic song. Just like I remember back in the day when me and my buddy Rob were like, just like and it's funny. This like Def Leppard is one of these bands for me that was like a discovery band. Like when we were first breaking away from like just Kiss, and even at this point like Kiss and Van Halen, we were discovering like Ozzy and Def Leppard and shit like you know what I mean. You were just breaking away from your comfortable little wheelhouse that you had going, and Def Leppard was one of these bands. We used to rock the fuck out of High and Dry, and then when Pyromania came out, we were like rock till you drop. I mean, just like songs like that. I mean, just bring back such vivid memories for me that at such a point in my life musically, I was just like, you were like a sponge. You're soaking this music in because there was so much out there, and you're like, oh my God. And this was the time there was so much out there, but there was like not even close to what the fuck is out there now. But like you bought an album, like you had High and Dry, like one of us had it, one of us would tape it. It would be almost a race between would you wear the album out first or the tape that you taped it on first, because you would. I remember I was working at ShopRite pushing carts. You'd have your Walkman. I didn't give a shit if it was 10 degrees out. I'd be outside for a fucking hour getting carts just so I could keep listening to my mixed tapes, and like with Def Leppard and Kiss Lick It Up was out at that time, and like all those early 80s hard rock bands, like you were just soaking this shit up like a sponge. I remember, and I've said it before, we used to go out with these girls in a couple towns from us. We used to get on the bus and go down their house and watch MTV all day, and you'd sit through hours of Let's Dance, which I'm nothing against that. I love that song, like Aha and all that shit, to see High and Dry or to see Too Late for Love or something like that. You would sit through hours and hours of videos that actually became a part of your life after a while, because now you put on say you put 80s videos like on YouTube, hit a playlist, like every single one of those. Even if it's a band that you don't like, you don't listen to, you don't even have an album from them, you know those songs, those albums, they're just a part of your DNA at this point. And Def Leppard is one of those early bands that you just couldn't get enough of. And I don't even really remember On Through the Night, but it was High and Dry and it was Pyromania, and you were just like banging the hell out of that album, just listening to like everything you could from it. And great list. I enjoy it. I'll get into my list now.
Could I talk about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Dylan, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dylan.
Damn it! Every time.
I was on a roll.
I know you were. So the great list. I enjoyed a lot of them. Too Late for Love actually just missed my list as well. I love that song. It's such a good mid-tempo. There's so many good mid-tempo Def Leppard songs that I could have picked, like Love Bites, Too Late for Love, like Rocket. There's so many of those that I really enjoy that I wanted to leave for other people to pick, because they're so well known. Everybody knows Too Late for Love. Everybody knows Love Bites for good reason. But I like that. Die Hard the Hunter is another fantastic one that just missed my list. And of course, Let It Go I like as well, since three out of the 4 so far have picked to Let It Go. That's so far been the song that's been shared the most. So let's see if it'll keep that streak with Steve's list. I'm assuming probably not, but we'll find out. Let It Go.
No, I booted it off my list because I don't want to talk about it again.
So close. Missed it by that much.
It's right there. I literally just crossed it out
because
I just wanted to talk about a different song.
Okay. You literally got booted.
It is. All right, for my list, I'm going to go from 12 up. From 12 to probably 5 you can throw them in a blender, mix them up. I have from Adrenalize, Make Love Like a Man. Fucking fun ass song. It's like the little brother to Let's Get Rocked. Just a great fun Def Leppard song. I love the video. It shows all these euphemisms for getting laid, like a train shrugging down the tracks and going in the tunnel, and all kinds of any euphemism you could think of for getting laid is pretty much on that video. Love it. I have Wasted on there also. Love that. Love the riff into that. My next one's going to be opening track from Hysteria, Women. Love that song. There is nothing that could ever make me want to ever turn that song off. I could probably throw that on in my casket and just let it play until the battery dies. Just a great song. I'm going to go to the retroactive album for our next one. Ride Into the Sun. Starts out with that, as Dylan would say, the jaunty piano. Then gets into a cool riff. I guess these were a lot of B-sides and tracks that just didn't quite make the albums and stuff. Retroactive is a fantastic Def Leppard album. And if you look at that cover, it's like an optical illusion.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you look at it, it's like a skull, but if you look at it, it's like a girl sitting at a table with a mirror. It's so cool how that album cover is. But like, there's a ton of songs on that I could have picked. Action's on there.
She's
Right Into
Too
the Sun.
Tough.
Yeah. And actually, the other version of Two Steps Behind is on there too.
Yep.
Just a great album. Absolutely love that one. Gods of War, I'm going to go with next from Hysteria. Love that. It's got the the Ronald Reagan not vocal, just like speech inserts in there. Great song. I love the bass. The doom doom doom. It's a very intense song. Absolutely fucking love it. Then I'm gonna go to Lady Strange from High and Dry. I think that if you listen to Lady Strange, listen to the melodies in there and the background vocals, this is right where Mutt Lange is hitting his stride with Def Leppard. There's definitely foreshadowing of songs to come in Lady Strange when you listen to that. The melodies, the background vocals, just a fantastic song. Then I got to go with Animal. Absolutely love this. I mean, I could have just said, hey, the Hysteria album is my list. I could have easily said that. But there are songs on there that I had to pick. Animal is definitely one of them. I love the harmonies, the melodies in that. Just absolutely fantastic. Then I go to the Euphoria album, Promises. I think David picked that song as well. I love the melodicness of it. The choruses are fantastic. This is one of them songs that you could pluck out of a Def Leppard album and go, it could fit on Pyromania. It could fit on Hysteria. And just a great song. Number 4, I have to go with the cover song that is absolutely fantastic, Stay With Me. Love that song. It's it's the last song on there. Phil Collins sings it. It's just such a good goddamn song. I could picture, I think there's one concert, I think it's Tina Turner and Bryan Adams singing this song together, I think. Rod Stewart sings it. Just a fantastic song. Get up, get out, get out. I love that song. I go back to Euphoria. Here's a song that no one talked about tonight that I think is absolutely fantastic. This has an epic guitar solo in there from Phil Collins. The song Paper Sun from Euphoria. I'll tell you what, this is, if there's a hidden gem of a Def Leppard song, this is the number 2 hidden gem of all Def Leppard songs of all time. I think it's about the struggle with the Irish, between them and the British government, and like bombings and stuff like that. Just an absolutely fantastic song. So if you haven't checked it out, you're not familiar with that, I implore you to check out Paper Sun. It's fucking fantastic. Number 2, I can intersperse 1 and 2 like with this for me for Def Leppard. And I think everybody had this on their list, Hysteria, the song Hysteria. It is such a great song. I love the melodicness of it. I don't know, I couldn't say anything else about it that already hasn't been said. When we first did our ballad episode, this was one of the first songs that I had picked out for that episode. Absolutely think it's a fantastic song. And my number 1, BC talked about this song briefly on his list, Gift of Flesh from Slang. This is my all-time favorite Def Leppard song. I remember picking up Slang. I picked up the CD, came home, and it's a track deeper in the album. And I remember listening to it, like, okay, this is different. And I remember hearing that this album was going to be Rick Allen playing in a set of acoustic drums on this album, so it's going to sound different. It's going to sound cool. So I'm like, okay, I'm digging it. I'm enjoying it. And I remember listening to this. It was before we had our house remodeled. We used to have a double house. And before we opened up the other side for the rest of the house, I remember I was home by myself. I had the stereo playing in the living room, and I went into the kitchen to get something, a drink or something like that. when this song started, it stopped me in my tracks. I had the album on in the background. I was doing this and doing that. As soon as I heard the da-na-na-na-na, it literally stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I turned around and went. I'm looking at the track number. I'm like, Gift of Flesh. I'm like, holy shit. And I heard this song. It was so different for Def Leppard. And I was like, oh my God, this is my song. How could hard rock fans not know about this song? I'm like, this song is fucking fantastic. So if you have not checked out Gift of Flesh, check it out on the deluxe version of Slang. There's a version where Phil Collins sings it as well. And so I love Def Leppard. They're a band I could throw these songs on anytime. Of course, there's fatigue factor with Pour Some Sugar on Me. No offense to you, David, Armageddon it, but less so with that song though. I could live with that rather than
because everybody plays Pour Sugar.
Yeah, but I think Def Leppard is such a their melodies, their background vocals, absolutely fantastic. And I got into a little bit how I got into Def Leppard before. Like you said, when me and my buddy Rob, we would pick out bands and stuff like that. We had High and Dry, and we literally picked up High and Dry because of those videos on MTV, and they were just performance videos of them doing High and Dry, have them do Let It Go, and we were like, wow, we got to check these guys out. We got the albums, we were not disappointed. But then we went back and got On Through the Night. It was like, okay, there's some good songs on here. I mean, not as good as High and Dry, but you could see that progression of them. They were heavy and raw on the first album, a little more polished, a little more melodic on the second one. Fantastic, more of a hard rock album. And then and we all know the progression. You got Pyromania, then you got Hysteria, but like it was a band that we got to follow, not from the beginning, but like just the progression of their their melodicness, how they changed and were influenced by the pretty much Mutt Lange, I think, and how music was going. I mean, Def Leppard, Pyromania was a game changer for hard rock music. I don't care what anybody says. It's a game changer. Everyone wanted that to be that. For Def Leppard, and Mutt Lange is the thing. For what hard rock was, AC/DC Back in Black, Pyromania was for the melodic stuff. All right, what do you think, BC?
Oh, good list. I'm going to say half your list is ones that just missed my list. Make Love Like a Man, that just missed my list.
Fun song.
Women. How can you not like a song called Women? Gods of War. Lady Strange. Another one just missed my list. Promises. Paper Sun. That went back and forth a few times on my list. And I said, you know what? Steve's going to definitely have that one. So I said... And then there were the 6 ones that were Hysteria. Like I said, that's my new song that I love there. Gift of Flesh. I remember, I think it was you that told me, you got to check out Gift of Flesh off, And I'm like, I don't know, because I checked out Def Leppard. But I put that out, I was like I said, it just got that to it. And it's a little bit different for Def Leppard.
It is. It's a harder edge, more of a hard rock, not melodic hard rock song for those guys. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Dave?
I thought it was a good list. Women is one that definitely could have made my list. One of the things I think is fascinating about it is the guitar solo in it. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a musician, but there's something that's different about the guitar solo that doesn't sound like the normal scale or progression that you hear, excuse me, in a lot of rock songs. Gods of War, I mean, come on. I mean, the intro to that with Steve Clark, and when you see them play it live now, they actually play the video and play that the intro. Probably their first real serious song. I agree with you, Paper Sun. Great track. Another serious song from them. And then let's see here, Ride Into the Sun. I think that one had been around a while before Retroactive. I remember when Retroactive came out. That was like 93, I think.
Yeah, some of the songs around for a long time.
I had just about kind of gotten away from all of this music there for a while, but that one drew me back in. I love the fact you had 2 versions of the ballad Miss You in a Heartbeat, and then you had the 2 versions of Two Steps Behind on there. The electric version of Two Steps Behind, man, I love. And the acoustic one is great, too. It was on that Last Action Hero soundtrack, which to me is one of the greatest music soundtracks of all time. But another song on there that I came close to being on mine is a song called "She's Too Tough." It was definitely from the Two-Armed Rick Allen era. But yeah, I can't argue with a lot of your picks. "Gift of Flesh" is good. I agree. I think you and I, at least Steve, are in agreement that slang gets a bad rap at times.
It does.
The one though that honestly it surprises me that was on there for you was "Make Love Like a Man." That one surprised me. I'll be honest with you, but all the rest of them I can't argue with.
All right.
Yeah, I enjoyed this list quite a bit. "Make Love Like a Man." When I was younger and growing up, for some reason I gravitated towards Adrenalize. That was my album as I was forming my musical taste. So "Make It Love Like a Man," "Let's Get Rocked," like those were songs that were on my little MP3 player, just playing all the time. I would just play them on loop. But then I evolved my tastes and got into the better albums. But I still hold a soft spot in my heart for "Make Love Like a Man." "Women," yet again, another great album opener. I love the opening kind of mysterious like build up and then it's so good. And then I love the skin on skin. It's really fun. Really fun parts, and you can tell Mutt Lange is having a real great time with the production of that song specifically. "Gods of War," that's a fantastic one. "Animal," like I said, I really enjoy. That could have made my list. "Stay With Me," a really fun cover. I love the chorus. I love how Phil sings it. I feel like Phil was better suited for this song than Joe, because Phil has that edge to his voice that really sells it, and you feel the emotion behind it. And "Hysteria," that's one of the best written pop songs, on this side of the, whatever. But
we could say Mississippi, but that's where David is.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic song. Definitely worth being the title track of the album. I just don't get sick of hearing that. And "Gift of Flesh," a very good song as well. There's also a version of it called "Black Sun" on the deluxe edition of Slang. That's basically a slowed down version of it. So I'm thinking it's almost like a demo version before they evolved it into "Gift of Flesh." So great list, good list.
I have that double CD. I have to check that out. I don't know.
There's a lot of songs you're missing out on.
No, I know. I haven't listened to that in years. I'll have to bust it out. I actually know exactly where it is when I get home. What do you before we wrap up here, David? I don't know if you can answer this as no offense, as well as myself and BC and Dylan. What do you think of Vivian Campbell's addition to Def Leppard? I'll let you go first, David. I don't know if you're familiar with his other exploits.
Yeah, he was what in Dio and is that right?
Snake.
I thought he wound up complimenting them very well. He's a different player than Steve Clark. Steve was a little sloppier, but in a good way. I think played a little more with feel. But I think for their sound, going forward, their sound was a little sweeter, for lack of a better term. And I think the way that he plays on those songs really compliments Phil Collins. From what I understand, a lot of people don't like it because it's not as heavy and shredder as shred-like as some of his other stuff. But for me, he fits in there just fine.
What do you think, Dylan?
I don't mind him. I saw them live before I really cemented that there were different guitarists in the band before that. So I just always, in my head, substituted Vivian Campbell in there on the albums, not realizing that there were other guitarists other than Phil Collins and Vivian Campbell. So I don't mind him. I think he does really well live. I think they play off each other real well. And Phil's the star of the show in my mind. So, if as long as he's not taking spotlight away from Phil for too long, I'm good.
Vivian Campbell, I've been on his since Dio, Whitesnake. Personally, to me, in Def Leppard, he's lost, I think. I don't know. I'm not saying he doesn't bring anything to the table. But his stuff in Last in Line is so much. When he play, I've seen him so many times live, he just tears it up, and you don't get that in Def Leppard. And I understand it's a gig, and he has to do his thing, but I just think he's trapped.
All right, I was just wondering. I feel his talent's a little wasted in Def Leppard because they get on stage Phil Collins is the guy.
good.
He's the guy up on that stage. God damn, if I looked like that, I wouldn't wear a fucking shirt either. But for as fit as Phil is, he is an extremely underrated guitar player. He is not in any conversation hardly ever of, wow, you got to check this guy out. He's fucking amazing. He is. I'll tell you what, he is. Watch this guy live. Like, just listen to what he plays. And I think that when you see that shift in Def Leppard, that's a lot is him. I think he showed the shift in Def Leppard like Adrian Smith showed in Iron Maiden. He was that guy that came in when they changed. I mean, you have Phil played, I guess someone said he played like I'm sorry, Pete Willis had some stuff that he had played for Pyromania, but when Phil came in, different band. Adrian Smith played on Killers, but when he came in, all that shit was already written. But listen to the difference between Number of the Beast and Killers. Listen to the difference between Pyromania and High and Dry. What's the ingredient there? Adrian Smith. Well, you obviously have Bruce Dickinson as well in Iron Maiden. But music wise, you have Phil Collins and you have Adrian Smith on those two albums. I mean, that's just my feeling. But as far as Vivian Campbell goes, he does fit well. I've seen them live several times with Vivian Campbell. He does not look out of place on stage. He just seems underutilized in Def Leppard. He's the feature guitar player when they do Love Bites. He does a kick-ass thing in that. When they do Switch 625, I love when him and Phil go up the front. I love that. I fucking love that. But I think he's underutilized. Like when you see him with Last in Line, he's the guy. And he still has that Dio sound when he plays those songs. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's just I'm kind of expecting a little Dio musicness in Def Leppard, which you don't get. But I don't mind him there, but I think he's underutilized. All right, so we will go around. We'll wrap up. David, go ahead, my friend. Plug your shows and give your final words, and we'll get out of here.
Good time as always. Love talking to you guys. One of the best things about doing podcasts is the friendships, and count you guys amongst my friends. And always enjoy talking to you. And you can listen to me and me and my buddy Chris on Digital Kill the Radio Star. You can find that on all the normal places. The Twitter is @DigitalKilled. And then if you're a Black Crowes fan, head on over to the State of Amorica. Me and my buddy Ian he lives on Long Island, and we have a real good time doing that podcast. You can find that everywhere, and it's on Twitter @State of Amorica. We have a pretty active Facebook page and Instagram, and give us a chance. I think you'll like it. But good time as always, fellas.
All right, thank you, sir. Done.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Dave. It's always great to have your insight. It's been too long. It won't be this long again, I hope. I'm looking to you, Dad, to make sure that doesn't happen. But Def Leppard, fun band to talk about. Really great number of songs. A lot that we didn't talk about that we could have easily put on our list, but we're going to get into that series sometime down the road with them. So we will be talking about them at some point. But the songs that we did talk about, you could listen to on our Spotify playlist of the week. That will be in the show notes. You could check out I'll put all the versions of Gift of Flesh that are on there. And all the songs that we talked about. They will all be in there. Unless somebody picked a rare B-side that was, recorded off of a videotape that got confiscated in the Kosovo airport or whatever. They'll be on the Spotify playlist. And I will also be putting links to State of Amorica and Digital Kill the Radio Star in the show notes as well to check out Dave's stuff. So really great to have you on again.
Dave, awesome having you on again. Good to hear your voice. I'm going to check out your new podcast because you got some blackberry smoke on there, and how can you not go around with some blackberry smoke? But thanks for coming on again. It's been a long time. Def Leppard, here's a band that takes you back to your youth. Me and Steve here, our youth, growing up when before the internet, before social media and all this stuff, and a different world back then when you race to the record store to get the newest thing, and that's how you found out stuff. I mean, there was not the internet. It's totally different world. But fun episode.
Yeah, thanks, Dave, for hanging with us again. And like BC was one of you guys hit the nail on the head. It's been way too long, and I hope you say hello to Chris. Well, I'll say hello to Chris because I'll either text him or call him. It's not like I haven't talked to him or seen what's going on with him. But it's great to have you on again, and I apologize for how long it's been. And with your show how it goes. It's one show leads to another, and it just kind of snowballs, and you kind of get lost in the fray of what you have going on and what everybody else has going on. But I'm glad you're able to spend some time with us, and I mean that's a common bond that I think you and I have, our love for Hysteria. I had a great time when you had me on your show. We just talked about Hysteria for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think it was a Sunday afternoon we did that, and it was a good time, and I really appreciate you giving up your time. I know you're busy, and I hope you stay safe down there and everything's cool. Hope your guys' weather improves, because I know you guys have had some really tough winter compared to other parts of the country, and and I'm glad you guys stayed safe down there. But I appreciate you spending time with us. It's always fun, and I will never just forget the Rockin' Pod. We sat in the lobby of the hotel. It was just us guys. If we had a microphone,
oh God, that'd be great
for that conversation, we would have 1 million listens, because it was just such a. We talked about every goddamn thing as far as music is concerned. It was such a good time. It was me and you, BB, Dylan.
Yep.
Dylan, Chris, Sonny Pooney. I don't know. I don't think Steven was there.
I think that BB
was there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we had just such a just an amazing time, conversation, shooting the shit, and
laughing our ass off.
And hopefully I will be able to get down to Rockin' Pod. I know we won't be there unfortunately as a podcast, that just wasn't able to work out this year with stuff, and Dylan and myself have stuff going on that it kind of makes it tough to schedule stuff, but we're hoping things can settle down where we can actually do something like that. But I appreciate you coming on, and stay safe down there. And so, like Dylan said, check out our Spotify playlist. It'll have all the songs we talked about, and the Gift of Flesh and all its forms will be on there. And hopefully, if you guys aren't familiar with some of these songs, if you're just familiar with High and Dry, Pyromania, and Hysteria, check out some of these deeper songs we talked about tonight, some of the newer stuff. And after Hysteria, they may not have an album that is okay, the whole album is fantastic, but there's stuff that you can just pick 3 or 4 songs from an album, Def Leppard, the self-titled one, the 10 album, songs from the Sparkle Lounge, from so there's a ton of good stuff out there. Slang, give Slang a shot. Slang it's a different Def Leppard album, but it's good, it's solid, and it's returned to Rick Allen playing acoustic drums again, which is very cool as well. So I hope everybody is doing good out there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Listen to some Def Leppard. Get out there. We will be coming back with the Def Leppard episode again, not real soon, but down the road, not as long, not the 3 years that it's taken us to do it already, but and we will definitely have David back. Hopefully we can get him and Chris back for an episode coming up. And David, thank you so much for coming on with us. Good luck with Digital Killed. Best of luck with State of Amorica, and hopefully I can at least get down to Nashville to meet Ian, hang out with you again, and we'll have a couple beers and shoot the shit. And thank you very much, Dylan. Thank you for all you do. BC, thank you, buddy. And sorry BB couldn't be here tonight. It is his daughter Casey's 15th birthday. Casey, happy birthday. Love you. She is awesome. Hope she had a great birthday. So I just wanted to say happy birthday, Casey. And everybody out there, stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we will see you next time. And there definitely will be a next time.